Look, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you in advance of this mission. I see the Trade and Economic Mission from Belgium, led by Her Royal Highness Princess Astrid, and including Foreign Minister Labib and the leaders of the regional governments, as a fantastic opportunity to give a really big boost, not only to the economic relationship between Australia and Belgium, but also the political relationship. And I'm just delighted that I have the opportunity to be with them. Well, look, there are a number of companies on the mission that know Australia very well, so I don't have particular advice for them. But there will be a number that won't know us very well, and I would say to those, be very open-minded. I have found, because we're so far away from Europe, I've found that often when people come to Australia for the first time, they're very surprised by what they see. Their expectations are often quite different, and they don't always realise, I think, what a dynamic economy we have, what a vibrant multicultural country we are, and how much Australia is plugged into the big economies and markets in the Indo-Pacific, in Southeast Asia and in East Asia in particular, which in fact provide a good springboard for European companies as well in investing more and doing more in Australia. Well, look, thank you for that. I mean, I think overall in Australia, we've experienced a very strong, sustained economic performance over many decades, largely led by the bipartisan approach to trade liberalisation and economic reform since the 1980s. And successive Australian governments have tried to make the economy more open, more resilient and more competitive, including through unilateral reductions in tariffs, the floating of the dollar, the deregulation of our financial system and our labour market reforms. I think this has been the case throughout the country. Australia has become a very services-based economy, and that is the case in New South Wales and Victoria as well. In New South Wales, we've got big industries in financial services, professional and scientific and technical services, property services, information, media and communications, as well as administrative and support services, construction and health. So there's a lot that I think Belgian companies can look at in those areas. We've also got a very diverse base in New South Wales of manufactured goods, including coal, beef, gold and aluminium. And tourism and education is a very big part of the services sector in New South Wales as well. New South Wales is the largest economy in Australia and Victoria the second largest. So it makes a lot of sense for the Belgian Trade Mission to focus on those two states, much as we'd like to welcome you to all the Australian states. And in Victoria, there's the largest sectors by employment are in industries that mainly service local households and business, construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade and public administration, health, professional services and retail. And there's also a big export focus in Victoria on things very relevant to this mission: medical technology, pharmaceuticals, life sciences, international education, agriculture and digital technologies. The Free Trade Agreement is not just an economic agreement. We see it very much as an important strategic agreement between Australia and Europe, and it will provide a framework to grow the relationship, both with Europe as a whole and with countries like Belgium in particular, to diversify trade, including, as I mentioned, on energy and raw materials, and underpin cooperation on sustainability of great importance to both sides and addressing climate change. So I think it's one of the biggest opportunities in recent decades to really lift and shift our regulatory settings and open up new commercial opportunities, promoting growth in services, providing certainty in terms of regulation and transparency. So, and particularly providing, enhancing the environment for two-way investment, which is very important to us. So I think there are loads of opportunities here. And I just sort of mention as well that we're already well invested in each other's economies. So this visit will hopefully really give that a big boost. And I just sort of mention areas like transport, construction, medical tech. For example, Belgian company B6 has operations in Australia. Last year, it built a guided weapons facility for the Royal Australian Navy in New South Wales. It also it was involved in a multi-million-dollar redevelopment of Circular Quay in Sydney, one of our principal transport and tourism hubs, and you'll all be familiar with that iconic vision of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House and the Circular Quay with all the ferries. That's that area. So it's a very, very high profile. Also mentioned that Fina Sucre owns Bundaberg Sugar, one of the largest cane growers in Australia. So you've got a lot of investment already. And Australian companies are invested here too. I was delighted a month or so ago to go to the launch of the Australian biotech company Telix Pharmaceuticals, which has just unveiled a €14 million radio pharmaceutical production facility in Wallonia. So there's a lot of scope here, including in clean technology in the future, and we're really keen to develop these opportunities. And I'll give you an example. Last year, the Australian state of Tasmania concluded a memorandum of understanding on green hydrogen cooperation. We're looking to do a lot more in terms of green hydrogen and hope this visit will help open up some opportunities. Look, the only other thing I'd like to say is that as Australia's ambassador to Belgium, it'll be just a privilege to be part of this visit with Her Royal Highness Princess Astrid, the Foreign Minister of Belgium, the Ministers President of Brussels, Capital Region and Flanders, and the Vice President of Wallonia, along with the captains of Belgian industry. It'll deepen my understanding of Belgium, of what makes this very special country tick as an economy and as a country, and I'm just delighted to be part of it.